All right, so this is my code for my accelerometer color changing app. It's a simple app that will change the color of the background based on the numbers that it gets from an accelerometer. So this is written in Expo, which is really more like React, and Expo just helps simplify a lot of different things and export the code to iOS and Android with a simple QR code that you can download and run the app. And as soon as you make changes to it, it'll update it right away. And it even has nice debugging features and things like that. Expos are really great. I highly recommend it. So to get into the code, this is mainly going to look like JavaScript because that's pretty much what it is. React is very, very similar. So the first few lines here, we're importing. A lot of those were auto-imported by Expo. But the accelerometer is the one that we need to especially make sure is imported because that's where we're getting our data from on the phones. So this first bit is just to make sure that as we get that data, we know it's coming in as an X, Y, and a Z value, which is helpful because we can map those to the RGB values of the colors. So here we add a listener that's constantly going to be updating and setting the data so that we can manipulate it and get new colors. This is just a simple clamp to make sure we don't exceed the RGB values or anything else. That way, everything is between the right numbers so that we don't get any errors when trying to display something. So the first thing we do is we take the values and we convert them to strings. That's just to simplify rating them later, just when we want to see the text on screen displaying what our accelerometers are telling us. And because the accelerometer's data does go negative in certain points, I mainly wanted to keep it positive. So I added 1 to all of them. That makes it easier when we do our multiplication later. Because the RGB values are all positive from 0 to 255. So we want to make sure that those end up in that positive spectrum. And we do a clamp just to make sure that they do end up in that spectrum. So from 0 to 2, that means that when we do our math later, right here, it won't mess anything up with the RGB values, but we do clamp the RGB values again. That could be taken out, but just for safe measure, we clamp them again. This overwrites parts of the style container, which is a lot like a CSS file, except for it's more of a function inside this app.js. So what happens is we just rewrite it with the new RGB values. And then this return will have what we display onto the screen and things like that. The status bar is actually kind of interesting. That changes if it's a white status bar or black status bar. So it's like the upper part of the phone that has like your battery and all that kind of stuff. You can change that to be light or dark. We have it set to auto just so that it's easy to read based on whatever the color is on the background. And then here is the style sheet, which is the CSS basically. And it's got a default value, but that's just going to get overwritten right here and constantly updated. And so that's pretty much the app. When you want to run it, you open your terminal, and I've already run it once, but let me. All right, so we're going to go ahead and rerun this. So you just do Expo start. It will export everything, and then there's a QR code you can scan. It's helpful it does open something in your browser that will help display the errors and things like that. But all you have to do is get the Expo app and you can scan that QR code and it actually lets you update your app in real time and see it working. So let me cut to a video of my app running on one of my phones.